The town of Playa del Carmen. Playa del Carmen, and it is a fabulous place here. I love the weather. It's very nice, and for me, warm. I like warm, and it's good. But I want to share with you some thoughts that can be helpful today, but also particularly our sponsor, Restream. You know, we've been working with them now. Wonderful people there, and a great technology that lets us take this signal. Think of what I'm doing right here, using Ecamm, and I'm using it right here in my hotel room, sending it out to Restream, and that's sending it out to Facebook and to LinkedIn and to Twitter and several places around Facebook and to YouTube. That's pretty nice. And it gives you the ability as a marketer to reach out to people more. So I'd encourage you to take a look at that, see what you can do, see what's available with it, and how you can use this tool. Matter of fact, if you go over to bit.ly Restream for you, notice the number 4 in there, and then you use that code or go over there, you'll automatically receive $10 of credit when you sign up for the paid program. Now you could start with the free if you like, but then the paid gives you so much more for a very reasonable price. And you can do that, and you get a $10 credits and be using my affiliate link, so I might get a couple of coins on that. But I'd encourage you to take a look at it and see what's available. Well, there's some things I want to share with you, and one of the things we're talking about here is what we're doing right now. This is what I'm doing really on the road. I got to tell you, when we got started, I was a little bit apprehensive, thinking, I haven't traveled in a while. And, did I do this, or am I going to forget that? Am I going to do that? Well, go for it. Get out there. And if you've been doing travel before and you haven't done it for a while, it's going to take a little bit to get your travel wheels back, if you will, to get in that mental state. But once you do it, then you'll be going, hey, this is pretty good, because I've been looking, I'm using my Note 20, my Note 20 Ultra here, and using the S Pen here in the Samsung Galaxy, and I can make some notes here and use this rather than using a bunch of paper. And it works really well. I've always got it here. One of the first things I want you to think of is think internationally. Think internationally. In our world today, it's changing rapidly. And you want to start thinking in terms of not just my geographical area here, right here in this little county or state or province or wherever you happen to be on the planet. You want to think in terms of how can I reach out to many others around the world to serve them and to help them. And as you do that, then you learn more. I'm finding here in Mexico, some of the most kind people in the world, and they're kind enough to me, even when I go through my very feeble and stumbling Spanish. And so I'll try to habla español, speak Spanish, but it's poquito, a little bit, and it's good. But if you think that way, it gives you more resources to think differently, to expand and to reach into other markets and do more than you ever would have before. So work on that, because one of the things that we want to do is we want to have the ability to work from anywhere. With the tools we have today, with a smartphone or smartphones, and with the laptop computer, you can do a lot. And if you get good bandwidth, you're in good shape. So let speedtest.net be your buddy. You're probably familiar with it, and if you're not, write that down. Speedtest.net. Speedtest.net gives you the ability to check for the speed wherever you are at that moment and say, okay, what's it like right now, right where I am? And sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. And here's an even better way to do it. Like I'm doing this here at the hotel. The speed didn't look real good on LTE. So what I did is I was wondering about it, so I just sat down and created a test broadcast just to myself. And sure enough, it was really good. Worked very rapidly, and I'm thinking there could be something in error here on the speed test or reading side. I don't know. But what matters is how it's coming through. And so as you're catching this, leave a comment for me. Let me know, is it coming through okay for you? Are you seeing it? Is it working well on that? And so we can work from any place. And I want you to think and plan differently. Plan accordingly, because you see, things are going to change. I know right now, as we're recording this, as I'm doing this live stream here on Restream, the United States is going through yet another crisis at the moment, and that is that the hackers got in and started penetrating the pipelines for the eastern United States, for most of it, and they had to shut it down. Well, how's that going to affect you and me? Well, it could profoundly, because if you can't get gas and you can't get diesel fuel, and airplanes can't fly because they can't get the fuel, we're in oh my goodness land. And by the way, they shut down Keystone, so we don't have that anymore. So we're going to find out what it's like, and it can get kind of painful. So we got to be careful on what we're doing. And I would say have multiple plans ready to go. Have those plans ready so you can adapt You can adjust and you can say, all right, this thing didn't work out. We're going to try another one and work with it right there. Another thing I want to share with you that I'm really enjoying, I'm going to share a more complete report in just a little while, but a book that I'm reading that I highly recommend by 50 Cent, also known as Curtis Jackson, called Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter. Reading that book, and man, that thing is packed with really good ideas on how you can get ahead in practical, real world stuff. I mean, he uses the street language. He grew up on the street, and he learned what works and what doesn't work. And then he went out into, whoops, I just slept on my little cord here. Then he went out into corporate and started doing things, as you know, or maybe may or may not know, as a hip hop star, and then got into movies and TV and doing that. He's expanding, and I think that's the key. We've got to keep thinking expansion. Get to know someone like Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent, and the best way to get to know him, read his book, because that's where he poured his thoughts. A book is a collection of many thoughts, not just a random luncheon or a dinner. Say if you had dinner with a really smart person that you admire, well, that'd be great, be wonderful. But it's even better if you can have them by your side for a period of time, a few days maybe, or maybe even a week, and then hear their thoughts on deep subjects that have been crafted and molded. Well, that's called a book. And a book really can give you the capabilities to do a lot there. So I'd recommend staying in that and working with it there. And so another thing you want to do is keep adjusting. As we've said many times before here, think of what Bruce Lee said. Be the water, adapt, adjust, and always move and change, because if you do that, you're going to be learning a lot, because the travel really can be educational. I came up with a phrase today: travel teaches tenacity. Travel teaches tenacity. There we go. I love those alliterations. And that gives you the ability to say, okay, I'm going to keep going. I adjust. I'm going to adapt. This didn't go as we planned on the trip we're taking right now. Yeah, little things go wrong. They do every time you take some kind of a trip. There's something that didn't quite go right. Nothing major this time, but there was a few little inconveniences, a few little, I wish it would have gone the other way. And that's all right. You learn from that. You take the disadvantage. You take the thing that was a disappointment. You take the yuck and you build on top of it to become even better. How can you use that? Much like you would go to a gym and you lift weights, which tears down your muscle. Lifting weights tears down the muscle, and then the strength comes when you rest and rebuild, giving it the right kind of nutrition, the right kind of fuel that you want. But the tearing down, done in the right way, in a medically sound way, is very good for you. So get back in there and do that traveling if it's something you've been doing for a while, and I encourage you to think about that. Well, hey, I wanted to bounce in here real quick. I'm going to be doing another broadcast in just a little while for one of my clients, Dental Nachos, marvelous people there that do training in the dental community. We're going to do that on some of these same channels, but I wanted this to get out there to you. Let me know what you think. You can drop me a note different places. Now, let's see, I've got my slides all geared up here. Here, hang on, you're going to like this. Here we go. There we are. I'm Terry Brock. See that? Look at that. There's how you'd reach me. Terry@terrybrock.com. By the way, notice I'm using those new eCam things that just fly in here, and it's real nice. And by the way, here's a little gift I want to give you. This is my create compelling quality content quickly. I call it my 5K course. It's on how to create content. If you're a content creator, you will enjoy this a lot. So go over to terrybrock.com/5K, and notice the K is lowercase. So 5K, terrybrock.com/5K. It's got videos in there, audio, and how you can create your content, really get the kind of things going that you want to do with your content. Well, thanks for joining me today. I will look forward to hearing from you, and it's good to be back on the road traveling around. I'll see you again.